advantage. And the records in the ring, as you can see, Bennett with more of the experience, a record of 24-5-2, 17 by knockout, and Campbell with only 7 professional fights, 4-3, 3 knockouts. So with that, let's go to Ed Darien for the introductions in the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for 8 rounds, and it's in the light heavyweight division. The judges, Frank Brunette, Ray Hoagland, and Lindsey Tucker. The timekeeper to bell is Roy Johnson. Counting for the knockdown seconds, alternate referee Dwayne Bobbick. In the ring at this time, the man in charge of the scheduled 8-round light heavyweight bout, referee Zach Clayton. And now, boxing fans, introducing the principals. First, in the blue corner, wearing the brown trunks with the white trim, he weighed in at an even 170.5 pounds. This young man hails from New York City, New York. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Tony Campbell. And his opponent in the red corner, wearing the green trunks with the white trim, he weighed in at 171.5 pounds. This young man hails from Darby, Pennsylvania. Boxing fans, let's welcome Richie, the Bandit Bennett.
Okay, fellas, this is your fight. I'm going to let you fight your fight. As long as you're fighting, abide by the rules of the state. I want you to protect yourself at all times. Come out of those clinches. I tell you to break, I want you to hold your punches and step back. In the event of a knockdown, the boxer getting knocked down, he must take an 8-second count, kneeling or standing. It makes no difference. Boxer scoring that knockdown, go to the furthest corner. Stay there till he's sold in his own fighting. 3 knockdowns will not terminate this fight. I'll use my discretion. Shake hands now, fellas. Come out fighting the dog. Good luck, both.
So, veteran referee Zach Clayton with the final instructions. This is Richie Bennett's second appearance here on Super Fights. Back in October, he was knocked out by Richie Cates in round 4 here in Atlantic City, and Tony Campbell making his debut. Good look at Richie Bennett wearing the green trunks, and Tony Campbell in the brown trunks with the white trim. Campbell 4-3, 3 knockouts. He's 24 years of age, out of New York City, born in Buffalo, and Bennett in the green, a record of 24-5-2. As we said before, 17 knockouts. He's 24 years of age, just like Campbell, and he's from nearby Darby, Pennsylvania.
Tony Campbell was telling us early in the day that he had a tremendous jab, and it looks like he has right now, because the jab looks well trained. And even though he doesn't have that many fights, he looks quite confident against a fellow who has a tremendous number of fights.
A lot of amateur experience as far as Campbell is concerned, 120-5. He won 3 Golden Gloves at 3 different weight classes. He was sick, he told us about 1 week ago. He had the flu, lost a lot of weight, couldn't train, but he did not want to pull out of this fight, so you got to hand it to him.
I must repeat again, he has a rapid-fire jab, and Richie Bennett's face is already all reddened from that jab.
Right here, Rich.
Bennett wants to throw punches from all angles. Stray from the science of boxing, as he informed us at the weigh-in today. He feels that is why he lost his last fight. He said he was too mechanical, so we'll see how his fight develops.
Richie has a fair jab himself. They're both connecting with jabs, and Richie really knows how to block those jabs as they're coming in. Now he's starting to block, but he didn't earlier.
All right, midway through round 1, this is scheduled for 8. Bennett in the green trunks told us that his boss's name is Campbell, so he said, I got to beat him, then I'll go in and ask for a raise.
Yeah, that was cute. I heard that.
He's a roofer in Darby, Pennsylvania, while Campbell in the brown trunks is very active with kids. He is sort of a goodwill ambassador to his community in New York, but he says he's married to boxing. He's from a big family, 6 brothers and 2 sisters. Tony Campbell in the brown, and Bennett, who just missed with a wild right in the green.
He wants to go all the way. He told us earlier this afternoon, and he's got the talent, although I didn't like the way he stepped away from that. He should have really danced back, but he looks very awkward there.
Now Bennett chasing Campbell around the ring. They wind up toe-to-toe, settling down in the center of the ring. And It is Bennett boring in on Campbell once again. A left-right combination by Richie Bennett. He says that is his best weapon.
Richie, of course, right now is pushing the fight. He's the aggressor, and that's very important when you're boxing in that ring. You must be an effective aggressor.
So we are wrapping things up here in round 1, scheduled for 8 in this light heavyweight bout. Round 2 scheduled for 8. Richie Bennett in the green trunks and Tony Campbell in the brown. Bennett, as we have been saying, with the more experience. He was a middleweight his first 28 pro fights, then turned to light heavyweight. Now checks in at 171 and a half. And his biggest win in 1980, scoring a 10-round decision over Benny Briscoe. Things heating up.
Yeah, that was a pretty good right hand thrown by Bennett, but I was just about to say that Tony Campbell has an awful lot of good ring generalship for a fellow with only 7 fights.
Before his fight against Richie Cates, seen on Super Fights back in October, he KO'd Big Ed Smith and then knocked out Willie Ray Tedder. Prior to that, though, he had a 16-month layoff. He told us that he broke his jaw leading to the layoff. He thought it was a bad tooth. He went to the dentist to have a tooth exam, but the dentist said, you don't have a busted tooth, you got a busted jaw.
And who did that? Did we remember he boxed, didn't he mention the fellow? I've forgotten the name of the fellow he boxed.
The funny thing is, Arthur, he couldn't remember.
He couldn't, that's right. Tony Campbell is a real dedicated boxer. He said that's all he wants to be. He wants to be a champion, and he's a natural. He looks very natural in the ring.
Former Golden Glove champion. He's a boxer, puncher. He says he can alter his style. Likes to take his time. He's patient, and he says he can switch to southpaw if need be.
But I'll tell you, he's in with Richie Bennett, who's a real gutsy fighter who keeps coming in, and it looked like a push to me.
Well, on that note, Campbell goes down, shakes his head, shakes the cobweb.
Yeah, he must have. If he's shaking his head, he must have been hit.
And a little wink from the left eye of Campbell, saying he's all right. But is he? As Bennett continues to plow in on Tony Campbell.
Yeah, Richie is aggressive. He's gutsy, as we said, and he's on the attack now. He knows he has his man.
A big right by Richie Bennett, a glancing blow. He's trying to finish off against Tony Campbell here in the latter stages of round 2.
Well, he's beating up on his boss, as you said, huh?
He's boss by the same name in the roofing business. There's a sweeping left hook by Bennett that got in to the head of Tony Campbell. So he continues to work against Campbell.
Campbell now has, you can tell, he fears him a little bit now. He's a little apprehensive about going in, and he knows he's being beaten to the punch.
Bennett, who wants to even the score on Super Fights and make it 1-1 as we head for the bell. So, round 2 complete. Round 2, all Richie Bennett. We'll take another look at that knockdown in the second round.
Yeah, Richie Bennett is the aggressor, as we said. He keeps coming in, and he hit him with an overhand right then, and then he pushed him. But the overhand right was really the punch that started it.
Now we'll take a look at some action from later in the round.
Richie Bennett has the feel. He knows he has his man on the run, and he's continuing to pursue him, and everything is going. Uppercuts and right crosses and left hooks and jabs, and it's a great combination. He throws more than one combination, and that's what you have to do to win a fight, and score, score, score.
Well, up to this point, Arthur, he is doing exactly what he told us he would be doing. He's not going to be stand-up. He's not going to be mechanical. He's just going to go for this young man, Tony Campbell, from all angles.
And the roofer appears in pretty good shape. He's, I guess, climbing up those roofs and coming down keeps him in good shape.
Wait a minute. I thought his nickname was the Bandit. Now he's the roofer.
Well, he works. He's a roofer, you know.
Well, Campbell's trying to come back now, and there's a solid right by Tony Campbell. to the face of Richie Bennett. He drilled him.
Now, that's a sign of a pretty good natural fighter. A fighter who can go down and then come back and be that spirited and really land the blows that he landed. That's a good natural fighter.
A swift right by Bennett. So we go back and forth, and this could turn into a slugfest. Round 3 scheduled for 8. A pair of light heavyweights. Richie Bennett in the green. Tony Campbell, who is landing now and coming back. He's in the brown.
And Richie Bennett was holding on, and that's an indication that he might have been hurt a little bit, because it's like a drowning person. When they're drowning, they have to hold on to something, and he was holding on to Tony Campbell.
You got to feel that he was stung by that initial shot entering round 3 by Tony Campbell.
Richie thought perhaps he was going to have an easy time coming out, but he's getting a bad time himself. He's on the retreat right now. He has a slight cut over his left eye. Richie Bennett has a slight cut over his left eye right now from the right crosses.
Now uppercuts by Bennett, but Campbell covering up. Midway through round 3.
It's not much of a cut. It's a little abrasion, but that could get progressively worse.
Tony Campbell in the brown, only 7 professional fights, 4 wins, 3 defeats, 3 knockouts. His biggest win over Darnell Wakefield, a man who once fought marvelous Marvin Hagler. He knocked out Wakefield in the first round in Boston in 1981.
We have a very enthusiastic crowd, and that's great for fighters, because the more noise they hear, they can become stimulated.
The crowd picking up here in round 3. Wow, what a right by Campbell. Another right.
Again.
Combinations by Tony Campbell, and Bennett's in trouble up against the rope.
Now Richie Bennett is really hanging on, and really the ropes are a little too loose because they almost went out of the ring. The ropes really could have been tightened a little more.
Tony Campbell, who was knocked down in the second round, is now airing it out against Richie Bennett.
That Tony Campbell came back just great. He has a great jab and a good right cross, and he's catching Richie Bennett all the time now.
So we are closing things down here in round 3. So it's been Jekyll and Hyde. The second round going to Richie Bennett, and the third round going to Tony Campbell, at least from our standpoint here at ringside.
Steve, you'd make a good judge. That sounds pretty good, really.
Here's action from the third round.
You can see now that Tony Campbell is on the attack. He knows also that he has his eye cut a little bit, and he's aiming for that eye, and that's the game of boxing. You aim for the injured part of the body. You can see now Richie Bennett is hanging on, and that's clinch. He wants a rest, and he must have been hurt. There's a good view of Richie Bennett now. They got his eye fixed up. He's got a good cut man in there, Ned Aliano.
Round 4, scheduled for 8. It's been an interesting fight.
Yeah, he's doing remarkably well, young Tony Campbell, with only 7 fights in his career against a real seasoned veteran.
Looking extremely poised and confident. Tony Campbell in the brown. A lot less experience by Richie Bennett, who came out like gangbusters, and then Campbell completely turned things around.
Richie Bennett's same eye where the cut is now has a lower black and blue, and is swelling up, as you can see.
Now,
he was hurt then.
They exchange punches. Right-left combination by Tony Campbell. He's got a 72-inch reach, which is 2 inches less than Bennett, but he had some wingspan just now. Complete extension.
That's a very good term, you're right. And he's got power behind it. He puts his weight behind it. He extends the jab, and he steps in with his left foot and puts power in it.
1 minute into round 4. Richie Bennett has been knocked down only once, so keep that in mind. He's got a good jaw.
It seems to me from where I'm looking, I think that Tony Campbell is now now bleeding a little bit at the mouth, but it doesn't look that bad right now.
The straight right to the body by Campbell, but did have full impact against Bennett. The referee is Zach Clayton. Now Bennett looking to come back. They continue to exchange in the center of the ring.
Well, it's much better that Richie Bennett stays on the inside with a fellow with a long reach like that, because he's going to get tagged at all times at long range. There it goes.
Well, he said to us this afternoon he may have to stray from the science of boxing, but he might have to go right back to it.
What Tony is doing right now, he's setting him up for that right hand, and he's cocking it just right. He's jabbing, and he comes across with the right.
Under a minute remaining in round 4, scheduled for 8. Right cross followed by a left uppercut by Richie Bennett. Another good combination by Bennett. And there's blood from the mouth of Tony Campbell.
Now that's where the veteran comes out to be hurt and then come back after being hurt. That takes experience.
Bennett will be 25 in just a couple of weeks, but a lot more experienced professionally than his opponent tonight, Tony Campbell, as we go down through the bell here in round number 4. And the crowd really revving it up. John Bowman and George Foy in the corner of Tony Campbell giving the instructions. Now it's round 5 scheduled for 8. It's been an entertaining fight for the fans here. A deadly right by Tony Campbell.
I tell you, that's what you call a well-educated right hand. Came across just right, just like it should. Right cross.
Ferocious drive by Tony Campbell. He lines it up with the left jab. He did it again just now. Now Bennett just trying to keep his distance. There's another right by Tony Campbell. Now right up above us.
I have to say once again that Richie Bennett would be far better off staying in close like he is now. Staying at long range, he's vulnerable to that right cross.
Well, he's taking your advice, and now with that, Campbell backs up to try to get some elbow room. Fans are yelling Tony. He's got some support here. 1 minute into round 5, scheduled for 8. There's a miss by Bennett.
It's been a relatively easy fight for Zach to handle. He didn't have to break them very much. They're well-disciplined fighters.
Jack Clayton and Dwayne Bobick are the alternating referees this evening. Steve Albert with Arthur Mercante and Dick Landis here at the Clarence Hotel.
That was a great move on Richie Bennett's part. He was trapped in the corner. He turned around quickly, and he trapped his man in the corner, his opponent. Very good.
Coming up to 1 minute 20 remaining in round 5.
If you were to look at both of these fighters right now, where they were dressed in their clothes, street clothes, you'd wonder who won the fight. You'd feel that Tony won the fight. He's not hurt at all. And Richie is cut up and got a swollen eye.
Tony Campbell in the brown, Richie Bennett in the green. Richie the Bandit Bennett. Under a minute remaining in the 5th round.
They slow down a little bit. Of course, that indicates that they're a little tired. But if they do their road work every day, they'll get that second win.
Jabs by Campbell. Glancing blows. A right uppercut by Richie Bennett. He faked an uppercut, and now Campbell might be in trouble. He staggers back.
Yes, he is. That was a left hook. Left hook uppercut did that.
And he gets the 8 count. He's got blood from the mouth, blood from the nose, and Zach Clayton might be saying that's
Yes,
enough.
I think he is stopping it. That was a wise move on Zach's part. Zach Clayton did the right job.
So, a technical knockout as recorded by Richie Bennett here in round 5. And there is no dispute from Tony Campbell or his corner.
What really set that knockdown up was when Richie Bennett hit him on the inside. He took the advice of his corner. He hit him right in the midsection and came back with a left hook uppercut, and that's when he went down.
Second time he went down in this fight. He went down back in the second round.
Well, that was more of a push. Yeah, well, a push.
But he seemed pretty dazed.
But
anyway.
he did get hit, but it was a push.
All right, we're going to take a look at this knockdown at the end of the fight.
Now, that was a right hand to the head and a left hook right. There was a good left cross, and that was it. That was that left uppercut, left hook that did the damage.
So Ed Darien made it official, 2:44 of the fifth round for Richie Bennett over Tony Campbell. And I'll tell you, we have had a series of upsets on Super Fights of the Month. I can recall Alex Ramos being upset by Teddy Sanders, Diego Rosario being upset by Gabby Canizales, Ernie Singletary being upset by Tony Braxton, and now tonight, Matthew Saad Muhammad, former WBC light heavyweight champion, upset by Eric Winbush. Where does this leave Saad?
I tell you, it was unbelievable. No one in the audience could believe it, because after all, Saad Muhammad was beaten tonight by a man with actually no experience at all, and that's a sad way to go out of the picture, by being beaten with a man so inexperienced. If he had been beaten by a guy that's been around a long time, it'd be a different story. But it's the way. It's too bad that these champions just can't go out when they're on top.
All right, with that in mind, let's throw it over to Dick Landis standing by. Dick?
Get ready.
All right, apparently we're having some technical difficulty with Dick's microphone, and that about wraps things up from the Claridge Hotel. Big upset tonight. Matthew Saad Muhammad is upset by Eric Winbush. We'd like to thank everybody involved in our production tonight, and reminding you to be with us again on Super Fights from the Tropicana, Atlantic City, on Tuesday, April the 26th. Arthur, good to be with you again.
Good night, Steve. Good to be with you also. Thank you.
So for the illustrious referee Arthur Mercati and Dick Landis, Steve Albert saying so long, everybody.